Hello YouTube, this is William. Welcome to another one of and prototype sale. These knives for the most part are not named. Some of them are prototypes that I've moved on to other prototypes as they're being field tested, such as the Master Trapper and the Master Carver is in that group. Others are just blades that I messed up on the model grind, so I changed it a little bit and sold it because the steel was still good, and no use in wasting good steel. So anyway, it's just and some of them are prototypes that I used in the testing side of R&D, and it's time to let them go and move on. There is a couple that was done back in the forging days, so that was, man, probably 7 or 8 years ago. So there's some vintage, if you will, things on here. Now I will caution you, I am going to, if you do not watch and listen to every bit of this video, you're going to miss something, okay? So do not fast forward, don't miss anything, don't skip anything. Listen to it all. You may want to listen to it a couple of times, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to say is on my website. If you go to my website right now, wcknives.com, go up to the right hand corner, click on the hashes, go down to Shop Knives webpage, click on that. You will see a listing for all of these knives, and it will say sold out. They're not sold out, okay? I posted that just so you guys could get an idea of what they're going to be called on the website and what their pricing is going to be, okay? On September the 5th at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Mountain, and 10 o'clock Pacific, okay? These knives, there will be another listing pop up, and it will say sale, okay? And they will have units listed there. You can purchase them at that point on September the 5th, Labor Day, Monday, okay? Until then, it will say sold out. All right, so don't panic. All right, okay. Until noon on Monday, they're not listed for sale. You can't buy them. Please don't ask. You can't buy them. Everybody gets the same shot at it. I will say this also: if you're not a subscriber on my website and don't have all of your information already plugged in on the website, then you are at a disadvantage, because those guys, they've already got all their credit cards lined up. They got all this stuff, information there, and all they have to do is put that in their cart and click buy. If you have to put all your information in there when you have it in your cart, if somebody pays first, they get it first, okay? So it may be in your cart, but until somebody pays for it, it doesn't mean anything, all right? So I'm just giving you guys a word of caution, all right? I get a lot of complaints, oh, I had it in my cart. Well, I mean, so did 2 or 3 other people, but they paid for it quicker than you did, all right? So, I mean, it's just one of those things. I wish I could build thousands of knives and keep up with demand, but there's just not one of those things that's going to happen. So anyway, okay, with that said, thank you guys. Before I get into the knives, thank you guys for all your support. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are just from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, appreciate your patience. I appreciate all you do for WC Knives and for me. So thank you. All right, well, let's get started. And this is not in any particular order. I'm just going to go through them, give you specs, and that way you can go to the website and kind of pick up on the specs, and there will be pictures also on the website of each individual knife, so you can kind of get an idea that that's the knife that you want, so you make notes. And I also I recommend that you get 2 or 3 priorities that you would want to buy. That way, if somebody beats you to one, then you have an option of maybe catching a second or third option, okay? So that's another thing that is probably a good idea. All right, okay, so let's get started. First one, this is a very thin, I think it may be either 3/32 or a 1/16 inch. 1095, very old, ancient. Okay, has the old hand stamp. It is a full flat, just a laser of a knife, very thin red oak, brass pins. Has a little. This was even before I started doing the hidden lanyard. This is probably, I don't know. It was definitely a forged blade. It's probably 8-9 years old. Very, very thin. A beautiful neck knife. At the widest part up here, the blade is just under an inch. The cutting edge is, let's say 3 3/4. Overall is, say 7 3/4. Handle is, including the extended tang, let's say 4 inches. Okay, it's just a small laser of a knife. Beautiful little neck knife, a little Skinner. If you notice, it's got a kind of a very good belly here. So anyway, just a good little knife. 1095 steel, and that was in the forge. Okay, here's another ancient one, and this has a sheath, and it will come just like this, all dusty and dirty and gritty. Has a little belt here so that you can put it on your belt, or you can wear it as a neck knife in this little area here. But it says bog oak. This is English bog oak. It's stained black from the peat moss or peat bog or whatever it was in. That is thuya wood right here with a red spacer, and it is a stick tang. It is a very nice knife. Fills up my hand very nicely, and I have large hands. I wear a large glove. It's just basically a saber grind with a secondary grind. Okay, and you can see that it does have a little bit of heat treat marks on it. Those were left in there, it's just a very, very cool little carver, and it's listed as bog oak carver. Okay, and it will come with the sheath, with a leather sheath. All right, okay. And again, if you go to my website, wcknives.com, click on the little hashes up at the right hand corner, a menu will drop down. Go to Shop Knives webpage. There is a listing there for all of these knives, and they will give pricing. You cannot purchase them until September the 5th. It will say sold out until September the 5th. Then there will be one of listed on the listing, and you can purchase them at that point until they're sold out. Okay? All right. Hope all that's clear, because I know I'm going to get 50,000. It's sold out. It's not sold out until Monday. That's when they're probably going to be sold out. And if history repeats itself, probably within 5 minutes. So I'm trying to give everybody a heads up, a head start, and at least everybody has the same shot at it. I'm trying to be as fair as I can with it, okay? So anyway, here we go. Let's do the next one. Oh, there's just so many on the table. There's 26 of them all together. So, and I'm bumping the camera. Let me move the camera a little bit. Okay. This is a kind of a modified worn clip, and this eventually morphed into the little master carver. But I mean, they started this size and they kind of worked their way down. I like the worn clip. I thought it had potential in some form, and I think and forgive the chainsaw. I mean, when you start doing videos on weekend, there's no telling what all could happen. But I'm sorry. I hope you guys can hear me okay. But anyway, this one is Nitro V, and it's listed as orange Sure Touch with neon green liner and pins. Again, it is Nitro V. Widest part is 1.25 inches. Blade overall length is 4 inches. Overall is 8 1/4. Handle is 4 1/8. Okay, and it will come with a Kydex sleeve. And Kydex sleeve will scuff the blade. I don't care what you do to it. I don't care who does it. The problem is it may fit in there perfect, But as you take it in and out of the Kydex, you're not going to take it in perfectly straight every time, and you're going to scratch the sides of the Kydex with the blade. Part of that is just what Kydex does. It doesn't hurt the knife. It just aesthetics. It'll leave little scuff marks on the blade. Okay, that's what Kydex does. But it's a phenomenal material. I mean, it's just, especially in wet conditions, it's the best sheath material I've found. Okay, now there is applications you do to the leather, like beeswax and stuff like that, that helps it. But as far as a wet application, Kydex is king. All right, okay. All right, now I've got a little mini. This is prototype B. This is the one that was, I would say it's a full flat grind. I mean, it's very close to a full flat. This one is Nitro V steel, and it's the mini. If you're familiar with what the mini specs are, 2-inch blade, 4-inch handle, inch and over, well, just a little over 3/4 of an inch, just under 7/8 wide. The handle is linen micarta. It's blacking OD green linen micarta with black pins. Okay, and it will come with the little Kydex sleeve. And Randy has the pocket sheaths, the leather pocket sheaths that's been so popular with this knife. If you contact him at stitchgear.com, he will be able to sell you a pocket sheath with a clip on it if you want one of those. But prototype B on the mini. Okay, as close to a full flat as you can get without being full flat. All right, okay, here's one that this one was prototype A when I was doing the Master Bushman, and this one is 3V. This is the old stamps. Okay, this is hand stamps. This is pre-laser. All right, and it is prototype A. See the dual as a shadow stamp? Those are getting very rare. Hey collectors, I'm talking to you. These are getting very rare with the shadow stamps. Okay, and then on the back has the old Texas stamp with a V in the Texas. That means this is 3V. 3V steel with rosewood, with blonde rosewood, black pins, and a black liner. Okay, so you'll see this pricing on the website, and you say, wow, why is that so high? 3V. All right, okay. Width on this is 1 3/8. Cutting edge is 4 inches. Handle is 4 3/8. Overall is 8 1/2. Okay. Still sharp. Will come with a Kydex sleeve. Again, Kydex is going to scuff the blade. You don't care what we do. All right. Here's one. We will put a lanyard in this. It does have a space for a lanyard, hidden lanyard. We just don't have the leather in there right now, but we'll get there. We'll put that in there. This is the first knife. It should be prototype A on the triple X's, but for some reason I didn't put a prototype on there. But this is the first triple X design, and this one is CPM 154. Okay, so premium steel. Width on this one is 1 1/4. Blade is 4 3/8. Let's call it that. Overall is 8 5/8, I would say. Handle is 4 3/8. Okay, this one has wood pins. You see, that's red oak pins with a red liner. Handle is walnut. Okay, black walnut. I'm gonna have to work on that sheath. It kind of wants to stick there. I'll kind of do some adjustments on that. Okay, this one is prototype C. Again, this was when I was messing with a worn clip design, and I knew there was a place for it. and it kind of morphed into the Master Carver. But anyway, this one is prototype B. This has bird's eye Bacardi handle with orange pins and an orange liner. Has that bird's beak handle, which is very, very, very comfortable. Anyway, and you see the little scuff marks on the blade. Kydex does that. Okay. Steel is CPM S35BN. Whoa, man, we talking some premium stuff here. All right. A lot of times I had just little blanks laying around the shop that I needed to use up, so I do prototypes out of it. Blade length is 3 5/8. Blade width is 1 1/4 at the widest part. Handle is, let's say, 4 inches, just under 4 inches. Overall is say 7 7/8. All right, this one's got the leather sheath. This is the only one with a leather sheath, and this sheath is kind of a second. If you look at the stitching, there was a couple places that the machine skipped a loop, but it's still, I mean, it's going to be fine. It's not going, anything's not going to happen to it. It's just aesthetics. You'll see right there, it kind of where it skipped a space. But anyway, right-handed sheath. This was a river companion that I was playing around with some grinds. Handle is red oak with burgundy red pins and a burgundy red liner. If you look, it starts out as a 5/32, and I thinned it down to, I would say that's a 3/32 blade slicing, and this thing is sliced like a laser. So basically, I thinned the blade down. Just kind of playing around with a thinned down blade for a multi-grind, which I kind of used that concept on some Master Carvers that I did, and just playing around with the grinds to see how beneficial they are. So basically, you got the strength here for your Scandi part, but for splitting power for thin stuff. I mean, you know, kindling size wood, because again, you still have a thin blade here. But combined with that, I think you have some very good wood carving abilities, plus a very thin blade for game prep, kitchen prep. I think it's a very, very good option for that. But anyway, I was just playing around in the shop. I had a blank that I messed up the grind on, so I saved it. 5 3/4 blade. Overall is 10 1/2. Handle is 4 1/2. The widest part of the blade is 1 1/2. And the steel is Nitro V. Okay, Nitro V. Again, this one will come with a leather sheath. This is a brand new leather sheath. It's just a second, okay? What you consider a second. All right. Okay. I've got one here in mesquite, and this one is CPM 3V. 3V. This is one I had a little short piece of 3V, so I just was playing around in the shop. Okay, mesquite, black pins, black liners. This is beautiful mesquite. I really like that style of knife. This is prototype B. Prototype A, I think we're going to stick with, and that'll come out as a model. If you go back and look at a few videos ago, I was talking about prototypes that's in R&D, and prototype A is part of this. The thickness on this is a very thick 5/32. Okay, so it's a very thick blade, and 3V at that. So it's a very tough knife. Basically, it has a Scandi going into a full flat. The cutting edge is 4 inches. Overall is 8 1/2. Blade width is 1 1/8. and it does have that kind of upswept blade. So anyway, fills the hand very nicely. It's a nice knife, it really is. I just like the length on the prototype A a little better. I think it serves that design purpose a little bit better than this. But hey, there's somebody out there that prefers this one. I mean, that's what makes knives very, very interesting, is different folks like different strokes. All right, good knife, good knife. All right, well, they're all good knives, but anyway. Okay, here is a prototype slim, prototype A. Okay, prototype A, made from S35VN steel. Has a Coyote Sure Touch, neon green pins. Okay, blade on this is 4 1/8. Handle is 4 inches. Overall is 8 1/8. Okay. Very nice knife. Will come with a Kydex sleeve. Alright. Okay. This one is 5/32 AEBL. Again, this is that worn clip thing that I was messing around with as far as different designs and handle styles and things like that. OD green canvas micarta with black pins, no liners. Blade on this one is 3 3/8. Overall is 7 5/8. Handle is 4 inches. Okay. 5/32 AEBL. Will come with a Kydex sleeve. And all these Kydex sleeves are set up for either a small or medium tech lock. You can order those from probably Amazon or the holstersmith.com. Just make sure you get the hardware with it. Okay, now here's one that everybody's gonna want. This is a very early Master Craftsman. This has what everybody wants. This has the coffee bag burlap micarta, shade tree burlap micarta. I don't even know if you can get it anymore. Has the old hand stamp. See the indentation where the pressure caused the indentation, and then on the back has the Texas stamp, and E means AEBL. The E in the Texas means AEBL steel. Black pins, black liners. This is a Master Craftsman. This was before they even became Master Craftsman. This was when I was calling them Sportsman. I think it was, I don't even remember what I was calling it. But anyway, it became the Master Craftsman. Okay, cutting edge is 3 1/8. The overall is 7 7/8. Handle is 4 inches. Okay, it has that little finger tool there. So, but the actual cutting edge is 3 and whatever I said. Okay, this is made out of 1/8 inch steel, stock steel, and it comes with a Kydex sleeve. Thing's sliding. Okay, speaking of Master Craftsman, this is one that I use on camp quite a bit. It's Nitro V. This one is unique because it has a very thin handle. It's slimmed down, so if you have smaller hands or like thinner handles, then this is probably yours. It has thumb scallops. See the thumb scallops? Different style handle. It's OD green canvas micarta with natural linen micarta liners. Pins are a red oak. You can see the pins. You can see the oak pins. Okay, and also it doesn't have that finger tool. The handle goes all the way up to the cutting edge, so it's a little bit different. master craftsman. Cutting edge is 3 1/4. Overall is 8 inches. Handle is 4 and let's say a half, a little over half. But that is a very unique master craftsman right there. Phenomenal knife, really is. It's a shame I don't use it anymore. I'd keep it. It's one of those things that just too many knives. Needed to go to somebody that's going to use it. All right, here's another kind of worn clip. This is when I started exploring with the worn clips. This is prototype A. It's almost like a seahorse whittler, if you will, and it does some fantastic carving. The handle is brown burlap with orange pins and an orange liner. It just feels very good in the hand. Steel is Nitro V. Looks like 5/32 Nitro V. Widest part of the blade is 1 1/8. Cutting edge is 3 5/8. Overall is 8 inches. Handle is let's see what the handle is. Say 4 1/8. Yeah, that when I did this one, I started saying, "Wow, there's a place for a worn clip or a modified sheep's foot, however you want to call it." But yeah, great knife. Okay, here's one that I just was working on grinds in the grind room, and working on my blends back, and just trying to make them a little bit more aesthetic pleasing, I guess you could say. This was a trapper scalpel that I messed up on that I needed, and so I made this. This is walnut handle, and I think it has natural micarta pins, red liner, AEBL steel, 1/8 inch, and basically it's just a straight Scandi that goes into a full flat that's blended back. Has kind of a Tanto style tip, but yeah, it's a great little knife. At the widest part, 7/8 of an inch. Cutting edge is 1 or 2 1/4. Overall is say 7 inches. Handle is 4 inches. Actually fills up the hand quite nice, even my large hands. So I bet that would be a skinning dude right there. My chair's filling up, so I'll put the blades over there. Okay, here's a sheep's foot. I consider that a sheep's foot, not really a worn clip. AEBL stainless steel. I think that's I'd say 1/8 inch, in between 1/8 inch and 5/32. You have to understand, when we get steel, there's tolerances for the plates. So sometimes it looks like a heavy deal, and sometimes it looks a little less, but it's within their tolerances. So we have to call it what's normal. So I would call this 1/8 inch. Has little thumb scallops. Has a very, very good handle for large hands. Pins are aluminum. So anyway, so just playing around with that. This has a very, very sharp point tooth right there, and a very aggressive curve. So you'd have to sharpen this with either the RST, the rounded part of the RST, or a ceramic rod would work. If you want to do the very edge of a flat stone, you could, but it would take a little practice to do that. But yeah, it's a great little knife. If they wasn't great, I wouldn't list them as for sale, folks. I mean, you know, I don't really do seconds. They're not considered seconds. They're just knives that I've used testing, or just practicing grinds. Cutting edge is 3 1/4. Overall is 7 7/8. Handle is 4 3/8. Has little thumb scallops on it. I don't know if you see those. But yeah, I used this one probably a couple of weeks. Very nice little knife. AEBL. Yeah, put that up there. Here's one that was a Alaskan Scout, and we ground into the hidden lanyard. So I just shortened the handle, changed the blade shape a little bit, and it's AEBL, and did a full flat grind on it, put a clip point on it, and it's a full flat with a Scandi edge on it. No, the handle's a little shorter, but it's comfortable in the hand. So anyway, was salvaged from a Alaskan Scout. 4 1/2 inch cutting edge, 9 let's say 1/8 inch overall. Handle is 4 just under a half. Okay, no lanyard at all. Okay, black Sure Touch, black pins, and I think this one's listed as black Sure Touch clip point on the website. Okay, now let's talk about the Master Trappers. Here's prototypes A, B, and C. So A, which is the first one that kind of started the ball rolling, is OD green with 1/8 inch brass pins made from AEBL stainless steel. And there's the knife. Okay, and basically it was another one of those blanks, master, or just the Trapper scalpel blanks, and this was salvaged from one of those grinds. Sometimes when I'm tired, I shouldn't grind, but anyway, and two, sometimes it's something really cool comes out of that. But cutting edge on this one is 2 1/2 inches. Overall is just under 7 inches. Handle is 3 3/4. Okay, does come with a Kydex sleeve, and a Kydex sleeve is very tight. I'm gonna have to kind of loosen that up a little bit. But anyway, Kydex sleeve. Okay, then B, prototype B, is a very heavy 1/8 inch AEBL. Kind of was working on that blend back and the tooth and how all that worked in there. Handle is no lanyard, just a black canvas micarta brass pins. It was one of those things that lanyard was ground away somehow, so I just salvaged the steel. Cutting edge is 2 3/4. Overall is 6 5/8. Handle is 3 3/4. Okay, I think that'd probably be a good little knife for a young adult. Right there, or even an adult. I wouldn't mind using that little knife. Okay, prototype B, Trapper, Master Trapper. Okay, now here's prototype C, which very close to what D is, that's being tested, field tested by a couple of professional trappers. Hollow pins, has little finger grooves up here, so you can get up on it and do those very fine detail work. Perfect for big game hunters for caping, small game hunters, trappers, taxidermists, those type of guys. Even a good little whittler too. So anyway, curved Scandi tooth, blended to a full flat, heavy 1/8 inch AEBL. So there you go. Just a great little detail knife. Cutting edge is 3 inches. Handle is 3 5/8. Overall is 6 3/4. Comes with a Kydex sleeve. Okay. All right. This is Prototype A Field Boss. Prototype A, made from Nitro V, 3/16. And this one hadn't even been put out for pre-order or anything yet. So this one, whoever gets this one is going to be way ahead of the game. 3/16 Nitro V. Cutting edge, which is all 3 grinds, is say 6 5/8. Overall is including the extended pommel is 11 3/4. The handle portion is 4 3/8. Has the Coke bottle handles. A lot of knife, folks. A lot of knife. Width on the blade, I haven't been given the widths on a lot of these smaller ones, but the width on this one is about 2 inches. The widest part at that tooth right there. But yeah, still got all the marks on it from all the wood sap and stuff from me playing with it, testing it. Yeah, it'll come just like that. I'm not gonna clean it up. It's well tested. All right, we got one here. This is a Master Carver Prototype C. This one has a tooth on it, and for a Carver, I don't think I prefer a straighter edge on it, the straight Scandi, and they're just really I think that works best for a Carver because you can access a plane. So anyway, I tried this one out. Wasn't what I was looking for, but it will be perfect for somebody out there. Okay, has a tooth. It is a modified worn clip. Has a little secondary drop down here to strengthen the point a little bit. Has a thumb scallops. Just it actually is a short handle, but it fills the hand quite nicely. It is very comfortable to use. AEBL steel, 1/8 inch. And if you'll see, again, I use that thinning down on this blade. And these are prototypes, so the grinds are not going to be perfect, okay, folks? But that's what makes them prototypes in one of us. But you can see I thinned that blade down from 1/8 inch to almost a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so it's got a very, 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 very thin slicing ability there. Master Carver Prototype C. Okay. Cutting edge is 2 3/4. Overall is 6 1/4. Handle is 3 3/8. Black canvas micarta with black pins. Has thumb scallops. Okay. Here's the spade blade that was in the last sale that the customer decided that it wasn't what he wanted, so I refunded him money. But anyway, it's a spade blade, AEBL stainless steel. That's a full flat that goes into a Scandi. Fantastic little skinner. Again, I think this would be a phenomenal knife for a young person. Maybe their first hunting knife. I don't know. But yeah, you grandpas out there, for the grandkids, this will be a good candidate. Natural matte canvas micarta, brass pins. Cutting edge is 4 inches. Overall is 8. So the handle should be right at 4. Yeah, just under 4 inches. Yeah, it has a kind of an upswept blade there. So it's a phenomenal little skinner. So run up them legs and bellies. Yep, it has a Kydex sleeve. Okay, this is a parang that I was playing around with when I was doing the master or the hunter gatherer. It's a parang style tip. This one is Nitro V. This is a prototype A for the parang style. But anyway, handle is kind of an extended handle. It's probably a 4-position handle if you really look at it. But anyway, yeah, I still think that has potential. It might come back to that at some point. Width of the blade is 1 3/4 at the widest part. Cutting edge is 5 3/4. Overall, including the extended pommel, is 12 5/8. Handle is 5 3/4. So there's a lot of handle there. You could actually probably get a double handle on that. Again, a Nitro V 5/32. Okay. Comes with a Kydex sleeve. Lash it to your pack, belt, whatever you're gonna do. Okay, here's just something that salvage. I messed up a grind on a knife, and so I'm playing around. Basically a saber with a about a 12.5 degree bevel on either side for a cutting edge, and then going into a Scandi. Has a false edge on top. It's a false edge. Black sure touch, black pins. Yeah, that'd do some damage. I bet that would make a good skinner. Look at that belly right there. Man, that'd do some skinning right there. And that point. Whew. And with that saber grind there, a shallow saber with that Scandi edge, it does phenomenal feather sticks. Width of the blade at the widest part is 1 3/4. Cutting edge is 4 3/4. Steel is AEBL 5/32. AEBL. Handle is 4 1/2, let's say. Did I give overall? Overall, including the extended pommel, is 9 5/8. And we will put a leather lanyard in there. We just, for some reason, it doesn't have one. But we'll put one in there. Okay. All right, and the last one is the bush tool. This is the old bush tool. This is prototype A. Hand stamp, shadow stamp. Man, what a collector's dream right there. Texas stamp E, which means AEBL stainless steel. 1/8 inch. Okay. Will come with the sheath. If any videos you saw with me showing this camp tool is this knife. This is the one that I was doing all the test on and stuff. Cutting edge overall is 7 1/8. Overall knife overall, including the extended pommel, is 1 1/4. Handle is green sure touch, which is hard to get, folks. I've been trying to get green sure touch for a long time, and if you get it, it's like $40 a scale now. Green sure touch is just going phenomenal. I don't know what the deal is about green. But handle is 4 let's say 7/8, just under 7/8. But anyway, yeah, it's scuffed up a little bit. It has been tested. Man, it's still like a razor blade. Probably shave. Oh man, it's hard to beat AEBL. But anyway, yeah, man, that is sharp. But there you go. Fantastic camp knife. Fantastic. Comes with the sheath. There you have it. Okay, again, if you go to my website, wcknives.com, upper right hand corner, click on the 3 hashes. There will be a menu drop down, shop knives. Go to that web page and you will see a listing of all of these knives with pricing. Okay, you cannot purchase them until September the 5th. Until then, it will say sold out. But on September the 5th, 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, there will be a listing pop up and you can buy them at that point. Okay, So until Monday, September the 5th at 12 o'clock noon Central Standard Time, they will say sold out. Okay? After Monday at 12 o'clock noon Central Standard Time, they will automatically say, oh, we got knives. Okay? All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate you so much. You guys are just fantastic. I can't say thank you enough. You're phenomenal. Hope you guys had a safe Labor Day, and you guys be careful out there. And we'll catch you again very soon. Until then, get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure to take a child with you, get the opportunity. And don't forget those plenty of Band-Aids and lots of knives. We'll catch you again very, very soon.